Hello everybody, my name is Faisal Hijazi. I was a medical science major and I'm currently serving as the president of the Brock University Students' Union. I'm here to represent the S side to defund the Ontario Public Interest Research Group, which has been around since 1988. So 1988, students voted to bring opirg to campus, which has an incredible mission and vision that stands for a lot of social justice initiatives. That being said, in 1988, there was no computers, there was no internet. The students that voted on this agreement in 1988 are now between the ages of 48 and 52. And last year, we decided to take them to a referendum for the first time. And even though it did not hit quorum, we had 76.3% of students that voted to defund opirg and 23% of students that decided to keep, that wanted to keep opirg around. So that was about 15.75% of the entire university population. And even though it didn't hit quorum, to me that's a fairly large and reasonable sample size of our Brock students and what they want. So that was to me an indicator that they wanted to see this go back to referendum when 76% of our students are saying that they don't know of a service, that they don't know what their money is being used for. I think it's my job as the elected student representative to hold other third-party groups accountable. So some of the reasons that we'd like to do this is, number one, there's no online opt-out clause. And this is huge. And every time we had asked opirg of why this is the case, they would refer back to the agreement. But that agreement was written on a typewriter, which is probably why there was no online opt-out clause to begin with. But just to kind of give you an example, the health and dental plan is much harder to get out of in terms of opting out. You have to provide equal or greater coverage in order to get out of the program. And we still have 9,500 students that are able to opt out because we provide a legitimate opt-out option. Unfortunately, opirg does not. And they force students to come and meet with them 3 or 5 times a semester, whatever it may be, during certain hours of the day, and actually provide proof that they're a registered student to opt out of this agreement. So each student is actually technically part of opirg, whether they like it or not. And to also put the numbers in perspective, $116,000 is collected out of a potential $118,000. So you have roughly 100 to 200 students that actually are opting out. And from the sample survey that I did myself, the majority of students don't even know this exists. Another thing is, students are charged $1.50 per credit. There's 78,000 total credits on this campus amongst all students. So a total of 118,000 is collected, and 116,000 is actually, sorry, 116,000 is used by opirg, and 118,000 is collected. So only 2,000 is opted out. Also in the 2017-2018 budget that's provided by opirg, costs were roughly $111,000 of their expenses went to HR, and 116,000 was collected overall. So 96% of your money, of your student money, is going toward human resource costs, which is absolutely unacceptable for any of us that are looking into this. opirg also funds 8 action groups, but they provide only up to a maximum of $300 for those action groups. And just going back to my first point, I honestly and sincerely believe that the results speak for themselves last year. I know we didn't hit quorum, it was 15%, but 15%, those were Brock students, those were Brock voices that were being represented, and 76% of those students wanted this to be defunded and wanted to get their money back. Also, some other questions that we had for opirg was $40,000 in terms of allocated, that was allocated in their budget for office space. Where is that office space? We don't know where that exists. Is that on campus? Is that off campus? There's $40,000 that was allocated total, but we don't know. We don't have any answers for that. Also, there's $17,000 that was allocated in the contingency budget, and we also have questions of what that $17,000 is being used for. Now, I know I have 45 seconds left. This is only the first out of 4 debates, and what I'm encouraging students to do is not necessarily listen to me. Make an informed choice. Do your research. Do you know what opirg does? Do you know what initiatives they're running? Do you believe in their mission and vision? Because I do, but I don't think they're living up to it. And I think students should have the opportunity to vote. I think a sunset clause should be mandatory. Brock TV comes back for referendum every single 5 years. They ask students if they want to keep them around, and I think that's the best measure to keep students, to keep third parties accountable. If there was a sunset clause in this agreement, they'd know that every 5 years they'd have to go back to referendum, and that would have them pursue more initiative on campus. Thank you very much. 5 seconds is left, so I encourage students to read into opirg and why they should vote yes in this next referendum. Thank you.
We will now have the opirg no side.
Where do I? Okay.
All right, so introduce yourself and then tell us why students should vote no to the defunding.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. So my name's Carrie, and I'm the Volunteer and Training Coordinator at opirg Brock. I'm one of 2 staff that work there and have been working with the students who work at this organization over the course of the last over a year to change the organization and really improve it to better serve students. So as was brought up, opirg offers a lot of things and historically has been here since 1988. What that has meant is initiatives like the community garden, initiatives like getting fair trade status on this campus, and the origins of the Student Justice Center all coming out of people working at opirg and working with the opirg Board of Directors to improve social justice, improve environmental justice, and get people involved in campus. A few years ago, opirg had a big problem. They were not on campus, and students and community members saw this, and rather than give up on this essential community resource, they came together to take the organization back. What this meant was 2 years of rebuilding and ensuring that students could be present, could participate in events, could have volunteer hours, and really could make opirg as present on campus as possible. So for this referendum, we're on the no side, because obviously, for $7.50 a year, at very maximum, we think this is more than enough to fund all of the different initiatives opirg has now taken on. So, for the referendum, the no teams focus on campus, community, and choice. Campus opportunities at opirg are constantly increasing. Everything from people in the women and gender studies, sociology, labor studies, all doing their practicums for their classes with opirg and volunteering with opirg, to research experience through the History of Activism in Niagara project, to generally volunteering with our board of directors or our different projects on campus. These are all different initiatives engaging students. An example is Katie Northcott, who's from the Women and Gender Studies and Sociology department, who saw our board call out and was a student who wanted to get more involved, who was doing activism in her classes but not on campus. And so what that meant was she went through our process to become involved in our board, and now is this huge student activist on campus working with the sociology department to do there's an amazing documentary thing. Come talk to us after about that. But this is just one example of a campus opportunity that would be lost and we would not have capacity to do if you don't vote no in this referendum. There was a question that came up about our space. Our space, as has been stated at public BUSAC meetings and consistently, if you attend a public board meeting, there's 2 a month, our space is in negotiation and we are so close to securing an office space. We'll come to it in the next point, and I'm sure throughout the debates, but opirg has constantly been showing up to BUSAC to give them updates. Because yes, that was a big piece of feedback in last year's referendum, was where are you? Please give us information. Please communicate more. What this means is us showing up. opirg inherently has seen a huge change in the last 6 months. You might see the rainbow posters around campus as an example. The action groups were brought up. These are what those rainbow posters are. But the huge change in the organization is that there are students working on the board, students working on the action groups, and students and community members who are working as staff to make sure these student opportunities are available. For community connections, a huge part of activism and a huge part of Brock is being part of the St. Catharines and Niagara region community. And opirg offers that connection. opirg offers a bridge between students doing activism on campus and people doing activism in the community. A great example of this is the Niagara Anti-Racism Coalition, where we see students and community members coming together to ensure there's collaboration and that students aren't separated. Yeah. So there's 60 more seconds. For choice, students, as was mentioned, every month students have the option to opt out. opirg has consistently been working to improve itself as an organization, and providing opt-outs is one of these options. Obviously, everything takes time, and everything is a growing partnership between Brock, between opirg, between BUSU, between the GSA, and things like improving our resources, like online opt-outs, have never been taken out of our discussion. Consistently, we've been showing up to BUSAC and talking about this organization, and there seems to be an unwillingness to listen to the answers, an unwillingness to see that opirg Brock continues to grow and continues to provide. We're all working towards a mandate of social justice and a mandate that better serves student voices at Brock. Why would you ever take away the opportunity? On February 13th, 14th, 15th, vote no to save opirg. Please vote no.